Alright, everybody, as I'm getting things set up here, welcome to this week's episode of the Indie Inquiries, where we examine Steam store pages and provide marketing advice for developers who will hopefully submit them for future pieces. I'm, of course, Josh Bycer, and joining me from Nexus Games is my co-host, Sharky.
Hello, everybody.
Alright. So again, for those of you watching this record, we're going to be splitting these streams up into two distinct parts. And for this week, we are starting with Hopeless Dregs. As I said, this was a game that was submitted through my email, and you'll find content links to everything in the descriptions down below. So, let's start, as always, with the thumbnail. I think this is a decent thumbnail. I think it's catchy. I like the fact that kind of the name kind of pulls your attention towards the character.
Yeah. I mean, the light source coming into the tree also pulls your eye to the character. The pathway pulls your eyes towards the character. They have all these angles converging on the character and the name.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good layout and really good design. The name really stands out over everything else. The silhouette of the character really stands out. Even though it's really, really dark, you can see the character. You know what I mean?
I do think it's do you think it's still like a little generic?
Not really. I mean, it might be a tad on that side, but I don't think they can really escape that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It might be able to, but, it would be hard. I think that if they tried, it might be an inferior thumbnail.
Yeah. I do think I like the right side of it with the graveyard with the sword and the skull. The left side, I think, could use maybe just like something. It's obviously dark over there, but it seems like it's like really doing anything for the thumbnail.
Well, that's what thumbnails. You gotta make sure that you're not overwhelming the people. You need to focus their image. So I mean, I think that's probably a good thing to not have something over there.
But I think overall, pretty good thumbnail. So grade
I'd give it an A.
Man, I was thinking BB plus for me.
I think you're really underrating that thumbnail.
Well, I think the text could be just maybe a little bit bigger. Like, because of how the font is, the dregs is kind of like a little hard to read, at least from where I'm looking.
Yeah.
But still.
The font is a little hard to read, both because of size and because of the font choice.
Mm-hmm. But I think still very eye-catching thumbnail. And it does stand out, I think, compared when we look at some of the not-so-good examples.
Yeah. So, ready to go on to the trailer?
Sure. There's something about how my voice sounds different on two different streams. Let's combine the voices and see what we get. Alright, are you ready for the trailer?
Yeah, I already started it.
Okay. Let me raise this up here. Alright, starts with a quick play there. They really like that font. I think you can tell one of my issues from when we played this game last night at the 23-second mark. Alright.
Wait, you're way back there at the 23-second mark?
Nope, I just finished. So what did you think of that?
It was underwhelming. For sure. I've been trying to deal with whatever El Gordo's talking about. Half distracted.
Well, hopefully I sound good as I'm talking like in my normal voice. Can you guys hear me all right? And for the record people, let me know if I'm coming in too loud or too low. No? I can raise myself up just a little bit.
Don't raise it up. Because I think that might be part of the problem.
So while Shark's looking into that, I think it starts. I think it starts better than it ends as a trailer. What do you think?
Yeah, I need to rewatch it, to be honest. Well, go on and say whatever you're going to say while I'm watching it, rewatching it.
All right. So the big thing is that there's no real sense of like momentum or action to this trailer. The text and kind of like those scenes are trying to elicit that, but the actual gameplay looks very, just very stationary.
Yeah, I think that's because of the game and not because of the trailer.
Like
if they had real good actions and animations in the game, then maybe.
Yeah. And I think part of this issue, again, is that it's trying to emulate that Darkest Dungeon kind of feel to it. And you can see the difference, both in animation and in the trailer, between those two games. And I think, as we've said before, I think this is a case where what they have is kind of undermining the trailer. Like, the trailer itself is not bad, it's just that the content is kind of bringing it down.
Yeah. The content is definitely really lax, and and also the text in between almost feels like a stock asset as well, to a point. But it's like the best part of the trailer at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll give that trailer a D minus. What do you think?
I was actually going to be a little bit higher than that because, again, I think the trailer itself, like content-wise, is okay, but it doesn't have
the content of the game that's in it.
But again, we have to grade the trailer on the trailer alone.
Well, you also have to. You in this part, you would have to. I mean, we're not just grading the editing of the trailer. We're grading the overall. I mean,
I'm gonna give it, I think, a C minus. I think, again, that structure-wise, it's good. It's on the short side. It's missing a call to action. But again, the trailer has to sell the game, but the game itself doesn't have enough to sell it on. You're kind of one foot in the grave. So the images, I think these are all original. Again, it's hard to tell.
No, they're definitely not. Because that third one I know was in there for a fact. I'm pretty sure the fifth one and the fourth one were too.
It's hard to tell because every scene is unfortunately very generic. I know the last one was not.
I think all of them except for the last one was in the trailer.
And so
basically no screenshots.
Except for one.
Yeah. So give that a D minus.
Yeah.
F plus. Somewhere in there.
And I know there are more screens to this. Like, they could use a little bit more, at least like showing off maybe a different scene from that final boss. Like the part where during the trailer the guy like throws. Hey, Pavel. I think he is the developer, maybe. I think what we're talking about are the images being original from the trailer. They're not just being repeated. Let me see if I can... Oh, there is that. I just noticed that there is kind of like a light filter on the trailer that's not in the main game. Like, if you look at the... what was it? 19... no, wait. Yeah, there's a 21-second mark where the guy's, like, throwing, like, the vial of acid. I would like to see, like, a different screenshot of that. And then we have, like, kind of a final boss.
I'm not seeing a boss anywhere. Is
That
the boss just another human?
No, it's like a demon in the trailer that's at the 31-second mark.
Oh, I thought you said it was in the screenshots.
No, I was trying to spot if there was anything more they could use in terms of the screenshots.
Oh.
Yeah. Alright. Let's go down to the About This page.
There's not much about this page. Game page. There's no blue text, no GIFs.
We have a little bit of organization at the bottom.
Yeah, bullet points, and that's about it. You know, bullet points and text. That's all he's got, basically.
Yeah. And again, for a game like this, you definitely want images and GIFs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, showing characters getting gear, showing them fighting, showing them dying, etc., etc.
Although without really good animations inside of the game, there's not your GIFs are down here going to lack too.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely need to change that in the game to, you know, before you add that to the Steam page.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, you know, just showing a character slightly going forward when it attacks as a GIF down here isn't going to work.
Yeah. And the challenge of these shows is that the game itself is divorced from the store page, unfortunately, or in some cases for better or worse. So even though I played the game, I can't use that when reviewing the store page.
Yeah, but you can use the bits of game that you see on the store page.
Yeah. And I do think, like, I know the game is in early access right now. One thing that I think would help a lot is getting some animations going. Beyond just like character going, like, you know, them like going left and right like that.
Yeah. That's the equivalent of having basically nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's equivalent of having nothing without actually having nothing.
Yeah.
Rather.
It's essentially you need that visceral feel to it. And again, that is more on the presentation and aesthetic side, and that can be very hard to nail down. But it's
also very, very important because without it, your game is not going to sell.
Yeah. It's often what separates, you know, the eye-catching games from the games that people just kind of look at and go, and then they move on.
Yeah, if they even finish a trailer.
Mm-hmm. So, with that, let's take a look at the...
Card.
Yep. Like a decent tags in the RPG strategy early access. Maybe roguelike could fit here.
Mm-hmm.
No contact information whatsoever.
Yeah, no website, no Twitter, no nothing on that.
That's a no-no right there.
Yeah. Do we ever rate the About This Game page?
Oh, I don't think we did.
I'd say D-.
Yeah. I mean, you have the bullet points, so that's at least a, it's like that's one positive.
Not an F-.
Yeah. Yeah, I think not even like a banner at the top to kind of catch your eye. Yeah, so I think D-. Yeah, I think D- would be it for me too.
So for the title card, what do you think for that? But they got the tags, but they didn't get anything else.
Yeah, but the tags are important for Steam. The Contacts are important for everybody else.
Yeah, not for everybody else. They're important for all the press and anybody who wants to contact you
Which is very important as an indie developer.
Yeah, because you definitely want press coverage if you can get it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I give that maybe a C.
C? I was thinking maybe D plus, C minus. I mean, you have the tags, which is good.
You and I are definitely not agreeing on this with you.
Yeah. But again, without any contact information, it's going to be very hard for people to get in touch with you. And if you can't get people to cover your game, the tags aren't really going to matter, unfortunately. In the long run.
The thing is I don't think anybody's going to be willing to cover the game with the animations the way they are.
Yeah.
So I don't think right now he's losing out on anything on that because of the fact of the animations in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And because of how that affects the trailer.
Yeah.
And how the screenshots are, either the same or so eerily close to the ones in the trailer that it, might as well be the same.
Yeah.
So, and the tags are at least getting them to the store page.
Mm-hmm.
But sadly, the trailer, because of the lack of animations and the about this game page with no real good animated GIFs, is really not going to move them into buying.
Yeah. All right. I'll bump up into the C range then.
Yeah.
But let's talk final grade. So
final grade, I think this is
the thumbnail. The thumbnail is really good.
Yeah, and the thumbnail. I said the thumbnail's an A.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I think, is
in the
D besides D minus, except for the title card.
Yeah. And again, for those of you watching, trailer and thumbnail are the two B's in terms of getting a good grade from us. So we have one really good and one not so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's in the D range, I think, for me, too. I think it's
D plus. D plus. Somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm. Because the problem is that so much of what's going to get somebody to keep looking at your game is going to be the aesthetics. Once you get them in with the thumbnail, that's half the battle, or even a quarter of the battle. Then you got to convince them to look at your trailer. And I just hate to say this, is that the second somebody sees, when you get to the... Where is it? It's good for, the first 10 seconds. When you get to, the 12-second mark, when you start seeing... Yeah. It just... Nothing is popping. And then at the 19-second mark, when you watch combat, and there's no interaction going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to, I think, convince somebody. We always say this. When we look at games that are either based off of a popular genre, or they look like a very popular game, the challenge is, what does your game do differently? And it's not just doing it differently, but you have to have something that pops for people. And I just don't see that in this version of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that if he took this trailer and edited out all the gameplay, then he'd have all the best parts of the trailer.
But
which is because the gameplay is lacking on animations and whatnot, and if he can edit, get new good animations in his game, and then edit, those in place of the old ones, he might have a pretty solid trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But, as is, I don't see any way to really improve that trailer without improving the game through animations and whatnot.
Yeah. And one of the reviews does mention that he hopes the art style will be improved. Yeah.
Plus, the other thing is when it comes to the characters, they feel very generic.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed when you were playing, you had this turn order up here at the top at the screenshot 8,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, it takes really looking to figure out that all these generic guys A through Z are not all the same as that guy, just facing in different directions with different backgrounds.
Yeah.
You really have to look to tell that they aren't the same as that character, with just a different background and facing a different direction. I mean,
yeah, and the text was very small too. I think you may have noticed that while I was playing that. It was a little hard to read some of the stuff.
Yeah.
All right, but I think just to wrap up this section, ultimately, I think what need the biggest fix or the biggest suggestion is an animation pass, because if you can make things look very visceral, if you can give it that unique style, you can then use that for GIFs, you can use that for the trailer, and I think that will make this game pop a lot more to people.
I think it needs not just animations, but art too.
Mm-hmm.
Art and animations.
Yeah.
Specifically with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, the background art, for the most part, works.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just your character art just feels really generic, and the stilted versions of them, just does not work, kind of thing. I mean, they should be. I mean, you can put breathing animations when they come in. You can, have them do some kind of cool animation to where they're like,
actually swing a sword or shoot an arrow.
Yeah, shoot an arrow up into the sky, kind of thing.
Yeah, like the part where you have like the
hold their bow up in the air or something.
Like the part where the poison gets thrown in the trailer. I think that was like probably the most animation I think I saw during the trailer. All right, but I think I am ready to move on. What about you?
Yep, let's go to the next one.
All right, so that will be Control Override. So this is another game that was submitted by the developer.
Mm-hmm.
So, starting with the thumbnail.
It's plain, but it's clear.
Yeah.
It fits the aesthetics of the game. There's not much going on here that tells me anything about the game, though.
Yeah.
It's not like, why would I try this?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I click this? Because, I mean, only thing I get over this is that there's green in the game and the
zeros and ones.
Yeah. Well, you can't even really tell that all that easily. You'd have to really look at it, and people don't look at thumbnails that hard. So the main thing they're going to get is that it's green and, that it's, name is Control Override. Which, getting the whole Control Override is important, but you need to tell them more about your game than it's green.
Yeah. And I think this is like one of the issues that we have with these kinds of puzzle games, is that you either have the very clean but not descriptive thumbnail, or you have the very detailed but hard to follow thumbnail.
Mm.
So, how would you improve this? Like, would you... I think maybe having like some of like the lasers, I think it needs more color. Like, as we're talking, the thumbnails or the screenshots are like playing on the left-hand side, so I'm seeing reds and purples and blues. Like, it feels like could use like maybe have like the lasers be like a border around Control Override, so it draws your eyes in.
Maybe have a laser across the top and across the bottom, and then I don't know, have like characters in there somewhere. Maybe, I don't know.
I think it needs more color, and it needs like something to kind of guide your eye.
Yeah, and it should all guide your eye to the name of the game.
Yeah. So grade wise, again, it's clean, but it tells me nothing. Like, I don't know. Do you think C plus or C minus?
I'm thinking B minus because, like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what it does well because
Mm-hmm.
it's very clear that it's the name of the game and it draws your eyes exactly where it needs to go. But
It
it
doesn't.
tells you nothing about the game, and that's the problem. That's the one problem with this is like
Mm-hmm.
if this told me what I needed to know about the game in a thumbnail, some kind of basic information,
Mm-hmm.
then I think this would have been an amazing thumbnail.
Yeah. I'll
But
go with it.
that's the one thing it's missing is telling me what it is I'm clicking on because at this point it's just some game called Control Override
Yeah.
that's green. That's all I know about the game.
Yeah. I'll give it a C plus for me. I think again, it's one of those cases where you don't have enough on here that's going to make somebody click on. Like again, if we go back to the Hopeless Dreg example, like this, it stands out. Like it gives you something that catches your eye. It looks differently from everything else that you would see on the Steam store page. While Control Override is clean, but it's not really
It's not telling you anything about the game.
yeah, it's not something that I would be if I'm scrolling down a Steam store page and I see this thumbnail. I'm not really going to be stopping, I think, to click on this and see what else is there.
Yeah, because it's not telling you anything about the game.
Yeah.
I mean, if the game is green, then it's telling you everything about the game. But
Alright.
it's not green, the game.
All right. Are you ready for the trailer?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we have. All right. I like the opening.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can already tell one problem. And I'll wait until this is over.
Bugs, features, and tools.
Everything all developers need. Alright, wait till the end to show your name. Call to action.
I think the structure was rather well, for the most part, because like he had that really poppy part at the end, but he needs a poppy part at the beginning for the cold opening.
Yeah, I think the beginning was good. The ending was good. I felt the middle could be trimmed a little bit.
Yeah, I think he needs a little bit in the middle, but I think he also needs a cold opening. AKA a poppy part like he has at the end.
Yeah.
Because you want a cold opening, and then you want to, start down low and then build your way up to a poppy ending kind of thing.
Yeah. I think you could probably cut out 20, maybe 30 seconds in the middle. Try to get this down to maybe 40, 45 seconds.
Well, I mean, to be fair, most of his time is a call to action.
Yeah. So,
Because, I mean, the trailer really ends at, like a minute mark.
Let's see. Yeah, maybe minute 3. Like that's when we see the title. Yeah. So here's the big problem, and I think it's going to be one that's going to hurt this game. The trailer showed me nothing about the gameplay. Specifically, what am I doing in this game? And this is
it did show that because like it showed you moving things to.
But how's that work? That's my problem. I don't know what I'm doing. And that's the issue with these kinds of puzzle games. You can show things moving around on screen. Does the player know what it is they're actually going to do in these games?
I mean, I understood it pretty well. And I'm not a puzzle game person.
Like, I see the like, at the 11-second mark, You can see the transfer it, but I'm not understanding like what I'm transferring. Like, is it just allowing me to do multiple commands, or just a single one per object?
Well, the transfer it is just basically pushing the elevator to the call button.
Hmm. Man. Like, I see it turns purple and turns blue. So I guess it's just going to be just, you're just moving these around and that's it.
Yeah.
But from what we were saying earlier about the thumbnail, there's a lot more color in the trailer than there is in the thumbnail. And I think some of that color could have been used there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he could trim, a little bit out of here, maybe 5-10 seconds, maybe 15 out of the trailer, and then put a, 3 to 5 second little code opening at the beginning that really pops.
Yeah, if you
like his end one.
If you look at the 50-second mark, when it's kind of doing like a quick flash of levels or of a section, I think that was a pretty good part.
Yeah, that's the climax. And you want basically something like the climax for a code opening at the beginning too.
So overall, though, I think this is a good trailer. Just like a little bit on the long side, and maybe just needs a little bit more in terms in the middle, but it gets the point across.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
I don't think it needs more in the middle. It just needs adjustment in the middle.
Yeah. I'm thinking the B range for me. What about you?
B plus, because like it is so hard to make a trailer for a puzzle game. And I think they did a pretty good job. Based on that.
Yeah. I'll keep with a solid B. I think it does feel like it feels longer in the middle than I think it should, but it does, I think, hit everything about this game. Like, by the end of this trailer, I think kind of what kind of puzzles you're expecting. It has a call to action, and I think it does a good job of selling it. Now, with that said, though, the thumbnails or the screenshots, number 3 was definitely in the trailer.
I think number 2 is in the trailer too.
I don't think number 1 was.
Yeah.
Neither was number 4.
I think number 5 was. So.
Again, one of the issues with this game or with this kind of style is that everything looks very similar just because of how strong the coloring is.
Yeah. Something I might do to help that would be have different boards that have, different color backgrounds and borders.
Hey, Pony.
Rather than using green for all your backgrounds and borders. At least it looks like it, at least according to the screenshots. If they're not, then I would include some of those boards in your screenshots. But yeah. I would do boards that have, a different color for your thing. And I know they're doing colors to represent certain, mechanics and whatnot. So they need to be, colors that are not being used for mechanics.
Yeah, and I would also...
He probably has a good... I think he's probably going to be able to pick maybe 2 or 3 different colors that are not being used in there that are usable for, to replace the green.
I would say, if there's any other, bosses or... some kind of very specific section, that could make a good screenshot here too, just to kind of break up everything else.
Yeah.
You have the one you have the third screenshot that shows kind of the mouth guy. I would say maybe have 1 or 2 more that are either a boss or, just something that looks different. But still, though, I think this is a pretty good collection of screenshots. What do you think? B again? Maybe B plus?
Well, I mean, some of them are reused. So
it's kind of hard to tell, though, again, because of how this looks. Maybe the second to last one?
I think about 2 or 3 of them were reused. But there's 8, so there's probably 5 original screenshots.
So, eh.
So
What do
I'd
you
give
think?
it, I don't know, maybe a B, maybe a B.
Yeah, I would say B too. All right. Let's go down to the
About this
about.
game page.
All right. So very, very short,
Mm-hmm.
but it does have a little bit more structure to it.
Yeah, he's got the blue text for key features. He's got bullet points here,
We have a
and he's
GIF.
got one good GIF. Well, this GIF is really overreaching because this GIF should not be basically a trailer. You know what I mean?
You could have broken that into maybe 3 or 4.
They're probably 5. Looking at this thing, probably about 5 GIFs, maybe.
Yeah.
You want your GIFs to be short because you don't want people to have to stay on your one section of your page
You want to be
and look at
scrolling
that one
down.
section for like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You want the GIFs to be probably, what do you say, no longer than 5 seconds long?
Yeah. The part where it says you do not have control, that would be the perfect kind of banner GIF for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do not have control, obtain it. That should be your first GIF. Then Control Override is a puzzle game about control, blah 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 blah. Then have another part of the GIF.
Yeah. I mean, if they take this GIF they have and break it up into several pieces kind of thing and turn like one part into a banner, one part into a GIF, another part into a GIF, and another part into a GIF kind of thing, then, they will probably have enough to actually divide it out and be what they need it to be.
Yeah. And each one of these key features, or maybe every other, should have a corresponding GIF. Like physics-defying puzzles, definitely. Generous rewind mechanic. That you should show in a GIF right there.
Yeah.
Intriguing story of a hacker who hacked an eye of his own creation. That's where you could put in, the AI or that creature we saw. So I mean,
or you'd have no control.
Yeah. This is a tough one because it's structured nicely, or it's structured good, but it needs more.
It's decent.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's good.
I think, again, turning this one like mega GIF into like 4 or 5 smaller ones and kind of spacing them out would be so much better.
Yeah, that would be a huge difference. And breaking up the text more.
Yeah. What do you think grade-wise?
I mean, the structure isn't here, but I think the content is here.
It has potential.
I mean? Yeah, I think the main thing that needs to happen is that GIF needs to be broken up and spread out, and then, maybe a few other specific GIFs added, kind of thing. So, I mean, it's a hard one. I don't know. B minus, C plus.
I was thinking more in I think the C plus range for me. Again, not much has to be done to bump this grade up, and I think that is a strong positive for this.
Yeah, basically, you break that GIF up into mini GIFs, and then you spread it all around, and this is probably an easy A.
Yep, I would agree with that.
But as is now, it's definitely not an A or anywhere close to it.
Yep. All right, title card. So we have 3 tags. Okay, I see one very big problem. There's no puzzle tag.
Yeah. And that's a big problem.
Yeah. Because, I mean, this would be a game that would scream puzzle.
Yep.
It even says Control Override is a puzzle game about control.
And I said it at the very beginning, I'm not really much of a puzzle game person.
Yeah. So, that is a very big negative. You want, again, the Steam algorithm is its own boss fight, and you need to do things to appease it.
Yeah. I don't see the Avenger game in here, though.
Yeah. Well, you're exploring. That's an adventure. Isn't life an adventure? Life is a masochistic adventure.
Yeah.
But you have a website, you have Twitter and YouTube.
Well, let's see if they actually have a website. You gotta click on it. Yep, they actually do have a website.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using a lot of green on the website. And...
Mm-hmm. So this is basically the opposite of Hopeless Dregs. Oh, Hopeless Dregs did really good with the tags, but not good in the contact. And this is doing good in the contact, but not with the tags.
Yeah, but they have a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
And they're linking the publisher YouTube channel. Man, I don't know. What do you think about that? Like, I think they should be linking their own YouTube channel.
Isn't that their YouTube channel? Because Badeshi Interactive is a developer, and that's the YouTube channel.
But it says Brain. No.
Brain Station is the publisher, but Badeshi is.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said the YouTube was linking the publisher, but no, that doesn't seem like it.
As the when I click on the YouTube channel, it goes to Badeshi Interactive.
Yep, that's a developer. But you said it was going to the publisher, which is Brain Station 23.
Oh, well, they just have it listed wrong.
Hmm.
Because it. Wait. No, they don't. I'm just reading it because of the Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, so that's right. So, I think missing the puzzle tag is a huge mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he did do everything, or they do everything else, I think, good.
Yeah.
You think what, like B?
B minus. Well, B.
Mm-hmm.
This would be probably an A if you put that one tag in there.
Yeah. And again, like, for those of you who watch this, like...
No, not A+, but...
Like, when we do these grades, very little things can bump or lower a grade dramatically.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, a lot of problems can just end up barely affecting the grade.
Yeah. So, final grade. I mean, overall, it's definitely above average. I think this is a decent page. Not the best, but in the same breath, not a lot, I think, needs to be done to kind of, like, fix the issues that we have with it.
Yeah, I mean, this could have, you know, like, a few edits and be an A page.
Mm-hmm.
A minus page. But as is now, it's definitely not.
No.
I think this is... I think overall, I think I might give it a C.
I think I may be a little bit more generous. I was going to give it maybe C+. I think it's like...
I was debating C+, but, you know, I think it's just, you know, the thumbnail,
mm-hmm.
you know, drags it down, and no code opening on the trailer. The you know, some of the images in the screenshots are, you know, from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, you know, what's in the content in the About This Game page is good, but there's no structure to it, and makes it really go down quite a bit. And there's no puzzle tag, like, you know, that's why I'm going to C, you know, instead of C+.
I think I'll stick with C+, because I do like what I see, but like we said, not a lot needs to be changed. I mean, adding the puzzle tag alone will probably bump this up to a C+ for you, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the GIF. I mean, the thing is, even with the GIF that we have here, we're not even asking them to, you know, redesign. We're just saying, take this one big GIF and split into 4 or 5, and that's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
And then spread it out in the about this game page.
So there's definitely a lot of potential here. And the game is due out in 5 days. So this could... I think it would be possible to at least make a few of these corrections within that span of time. And maybe bump it up into the, B minus B range.
Yeah, I mean, probably 5, 10, 15 minutes he could get the puzzle tag in, break the GIF up, and then restructure it.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that may take some time would maybe be, redesigning the thumbnail and maybe doing a little bit more editing in the trailer.
Yeah.
But still...
Yeah, that would definitely take a good bit of time.
Yeah.
But those are the most two important things, so I would make sure to put in that time.
Yeah. But still, I think this is a fairly solid one. As Shark said, it is notoriously difficult to make an eye-catching trailer and store page for a puzzle game. And I think this one comes... I think one of the closest we've seen to kind of breaking that trend.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So... I think with that, we are about done, and way under an hour. So, or at least for us, that's a big push there. So, anything you want to say to end this on? Any final advice?
No. Just, well, actually, I do have one piece of advice. Join Josh's Eye Discord down below. And sub to this channel.
All right.
Because you'll get more of this great advice, and that is good advice.
Good. And as always, if you are a developer working on an upcoming game or one that just came out and you'd like us to review your store pages, again, we can be very critical, but if we like it, it means you did something very right. Then definitely get in touch. You can follow me on Twitter at GW Bycer.
And you can follow me at Nexus Games INC1.
All right. But with that, if you'd like to catch our Sunday shows, those are around 4:30 starting time live. And these shows are live Thursdays starting around 3:30 ET.
Yep. And again, you can find links to everything down below and lick the smash button and all that.
All right. So with that said, we're going to wrap up this week's Indie Inquiries. As always, come back for daily discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where he's in the art and science of games. And until next time, take care.